in. Is that anybody have any? I guess any questions? I got a few minutes. I can hang on here if anybody wants to ask anything about Thailand, just about the Lord, whatever. KKSM. I'll do my best. Okay. All right. How'd you sleep? How did I sleep last night? Oh no. Okay, some of these questions aren't getting through the screening process because they're inappropriate. Just kidding. Oh my gosh, what do you eat? Okay, I'll answer that one. Uh, um, okay, what do I eat? Honestly, my diet has changed. Okay, here's the thing. Here in Thailand, bread, which is a staple in America, is like a dessert here. So anytime people eat bread, it's not with it's not with a meal. Like sometimes I'll eat bread with rice, and people kind of look at me like, "What are you doing?" Okay, it's seen as a snack, and so every day, I mean, my stomach is constantly filled with rice. Probably pretty much every meal, eating rice, and then chicken or eggs. Like that's kind of the staple. A bowl of rice with some chicken on top. So that's what I'm eating out here. It's good. It's still good though. I appreciate some good Thai food, and it's tons cheaper out here than it is in America too. You pay like $10 for a plate of Thai food. Out here it's $1, so it's pretty awesome. Dude, what's up with these questions, man? Oh, hey John, are you for real? You want me to answer that one? The role of obedience in the life of a Christian? I can't eat bread, so how can I still receive the body? Oh, dude, you receive the body by faith, bro. Is that a real question? I want to know if these are serious. I'll answer them. Okay, John, let me start there. What's the role of obedience in the life of a Christian? Right? Because when you talk about faith in Jesus Christ, it's saying it's by faith alone, faith alone, faith alone. I know. The thought is maybe for some to go, okay, well then we can just do whatever we want, right? Like we can't ever make ourselves right for God. We can never do good enough, and you're just hammering on how, those who trust in themselves are not getting to God. But here's the thing that I think we need to realize about works. And doing, like living for Christ, doing good things that are pleasing to God, is if you look at Ephesians chapter 2, we read verse 8 and 9, but if you look at verse 10, so it says, not by works so no one can boast, and in verse 10 it says, but we are created in Christ Jesus for good works. Okay, so we're not saved by works by any, the way I've thought of it is you need to draw a really, really thick line between becoming a Christian and what that takes to become a Christian, and being the big word is justified, or being made right with God, and then sanctification, because there is the sense there is the time when you put your faith in Jesus Christ and God says you're spotless, you're righteous, you're clean, you're mine, everything's taken care of, and that's before you do anything. That is the moment you trust in Jesus Christ. Turn away from your sin, trust in Jesus Christ. Now, for the Christian life, the role of obedience is very important because we have commands all throughout the Bible. I mean, if Jesus Christ himself, he says, if you love me, you'll obey my commands. So, meaning if you don't love him, you won't obey. But if you do love Jesus Christ, you will obey his commands. But the reason that I think it's so important to focus in on the gospel is because of that verse that I said from 1 John. We love because he first loved us. Okay? And so I think you have to every day start with, okay, this is what Jesus Christ has done for me. Okay, this is what Jesus Christ has done for me. And now, because he loves me, I will live my life for him. Because that's what's going to fuel obedience in your life as a Christian, is the gospel. Because if you just think, again, I just got to do it today. I just think that you are not a good enough motivation to live for Christ. But when you see what he's done for you and the love that he has for you, I think that compels obedience. When you look on Jesus Christ and you see him for who he is and what he's done, I think that fuels obedience. And so obedience is very important in the Christian life. But I would also say, like the scriptures use analogy of like a tree and its fruit. I mean, if you're truly saved, you will bear fruit. You will bear the fruit of a Christian. And now that's probably another Bible study. People go, okay, at what point are you really not? Are you Christian? Are you really not? But in short, I would say you will bear fruit. Your life will be in a process of change, and you will be made to look more and more like Jesus Christ. And you will still sin, man. Anyone who says they're without sin is a liar, 1 John says. And so you will struggle, and sometimes the heat will, it will be turned up. It will be difficult, but I was doing a Bible study with some guys this morning, and we were reading out of the book of John, and Jesus says that those who believe in him, those who the Father has given him, will never be snatched out of his hand. No one can snatch them out of his hand. And so, and if God has you as a Christian, no matter how difficult things get, there's nothing that's going to separate you from his love. So I would just say, man, look on the gospel, look on what Jesus Christ has done, and tell me you're not, if you're a true believer, tell me you're not compelled to obey. And not to say that there isn't discipline and things like that we need to fight for, but it should be with joy, man. It should be at least a fight to have joy in doing these things, because I think the moments that the gospel is the clearest for me, I just, like, I got to go tell everybody. Like, those are the times that I am compelled and feel just so constrained and forced to obey out of joy. So that's the way I would say, is that obedience is very important, but it has nothing to do with you being made right with God. That comes as a result of you being saved. So I hope that's good enough. And if that's not, John Keitel, clean up next time he teaches on here. Okay. Yeah, man. Okay, what's some of the what other questions? What do we got on here? Do you still skate? Oh man, you guys are hilarious. Okay, do I still skate? Honestly, since I've been in Thailand, I honestly haven't been skating. But man, it's funny because I'll like kind of daydream about skating sometimes, and I'm planning on when I come back to the States to keep skating. And it's funny because even I know I've been here. I haven't honestly had a serious skate session for like since I was in the States, so like back in April. But I don't know. It's definitely not like people say stuff like it's definitely not like riding a bike. I know I'm rusty for sure, but at the same time I'm like, I don't feel like it's gone. Like I still feel like I don't know. I still feel like it's it's hopefully still there. I guess we'll see. But so yeah, I haven't been skating lately, but planning on skating when I get back to the States. So that's a good question. How do you do ministry with the language barrier? Oh man, yeah, it is that. It is a bit of a barrier. There are times where I go out, like, and there's so much opportunity. There's a lot of prostitution, a lot of bars with just girls that hang out front, and a lot going on downtown in Chiang Mai, the city I live in, and so sometimes I'll go down there with a friend who will translate for me, which is really helpful. But lately, actually, all the time I have these little tracts in Thai, these little booklets that explain the gospel, and so a lot of times, if nothing else, I'll just default to giving those to people. But I guess I'm at the point right now with Thai where I can. Oh man, it's so messy, but I can fumble my way through trying to explain what Jesus has done and who he is. And now I can't go into detail like, okay, this is what I mean by that, this is what I mean by that, but it's like I can give I can get it to a point where I ask someone, do you understand like at least a bit of kind of what I'm saying, and they'll say they do. So I'm really hoping that'll change soon. I carry this thing around, the Thai English Dictionary. It's got some wear and tear on it, so I do use this thing all the time as well. So so that's kind of with the language barrier. I really just I'm trying to study, man. I'm trying to hammer this thing, hammer away at this language. But so either go through friends, give out little booklets, or just try and do the best I can with what I know. Okay, how about this one? Yep. Are you coming back for good, or do you plan on going back when you can? The plan that I have right now is to go to America for 4 months, man. I really, after being here and seeing how many people don't know Jesus, I just feel like my soul kind of gets to kind of just unleash here. I mean, because it's insane. Like I know there's days in America where, say I get to talk to a few people, maybe like 3 or 4 people, and they all say, oh yeah, I'm a Christian. So even if that's not true, they say, oh yeah, I'm a Christian. But here, I mean, if someone tells me that they're a Christian, it's like I almost have a heart attack. Like it's such a beautiful thing when you hear when you meet a Christian and when you hear someone talk about Jesus, because it's like Buddhism has just so saturated this culture, and for the most part, I mean, 99.5% are Buddhist, and so that's typically when you ask, hey, what religion are you? I mean, the assumption is every time almost you're gonna get, oh, I'm a Buddhist, and so it's interesting to hear about that, but then to come here. I mean, in America, like there's kind of this quasi like America's seen as a Christian nation, which isn't true. I mean, there's a lot of godly people in America, but it's not a Christian nation. But then you come to Thailand, and it's like in America, you can talk about Jesus to a degree, but you talk about him too much, and then you're just written off as a weirdo. But like here in Thailand, like Buddhism, it's involved in I mean, not everything in the culture, but it is so saturated in the culture that it's kind of hard to avoid almost, because it's just so saturated everywhere. So I don't know what I just. Oh yeah, so plan on like I said, coming back here. I'm looking into moving to a city that I believe has 0.01%. So that's like 1 out of 1,000 people are Christians. So I mean, this is pretty much like a place Paul talks about where Christ hasn't been named. I mean, that's almost that's pretty much true in this city that I've been looking at and moving to. So, so I hope that answered that question. But I love visiting America. But
มึงไม่ไปกูไปแล้วนะเว้ย
but sorry. But yeah, that's the plan to come back here. So, I don't know the movie Zig Heist, whatever. I don't know that one. So I've heard about it, the conspiracy theory, but I have no comment on that. Jose, got jokes. Okay, cool. Okay, I'll try to answer a couple more on here. Somebody asked, when do you think Jesus will come back? Yeah. Do you think Christ will come again? Oh, I know he's coming again. As far as when, I don't know. And that's, I've talked with people about this before. When Jesus comes back has really not been something that I've preoccupied myself with. And I think it's a good, to study end time stuff. That there's nothing wrong with that. But I've had this conversation recently, and I think one thing we need to be careful with is that sometimes I think we, say something like end times, getting so preoccupied in when Jesus comes back, and I'm arguing this. This is my, I'm fighting this one. I know when Jesus is coming back, and so that's kind of the banner, and I want people to be on board with this. Again, I don't think it's wrong to dialogue about things like that, but I don't think we should make the second coming of Christ ultimate when there's people who don't even know about his first coming. I mean, there's people that you meet out here frequently. They don't even know who Jesus is. Have you ever heard about Jesus Christ? No. You've never seen a picture of a man hanging on a cross. So that's just what I think. If you're gonna fight for something, fight for people to hear about Jesus Christ. Because this world is full of people that don't know Jesus Christ. And so that's the battle that I want to fight, man. I'll dialogue about theology. I love theology. I love studying. I feel like my mind is very wired that way. And but at the end of the day, man, I don't want to fight for when Jesus is coming back. I want to fight for, hey, he came the first time, and telling people that and fighting to let that be known. So.